Welcome to NewsClick. Today we have with us Comrade S.N. Pathak, President of All India Defence Employees Federation, and Comrade C. Srikumar, General Secretary of All India Defence Employees Federation. Welcome to NewsClick, comrades. You have held a meeting in the last week with both the Defence Secretary and Minister of State for Defence. Would you like to share the contents of your discussions for our viewers?
We met Mr. Sanjay Mitra, Defence Secretary, and the discussion was for more than half an hour. He was in the beginning, he was not clear about the total functioning of the ordnance factories as a whole. But when we started convincing him and why this privatization is dangerous for our country, then he countered us. You are making mosquito net, you are making other this accessories for Jawans. Why? It is plenty of available in the market. Our reply was very simple. If we are making, what is the wrong in it, you tell me? Is our quality substandard? No. Are we not giving you in time? No. Are we not capable of manufacturing? No. When we say all these three, then I given him an example. In 1987, they have given 300 certs to Mafatlal, to the private, taking the work from clothing factory, Audi. Then after one lakh of sets, it has been, this army has returned it, being a substandard quality. Again we started that set. They do not know. When we said him, you know, Arunachal Pradesh, Imphal, etc. In these places, this mosquito net provided by the private companies is not working, because they are very dangerous. They make hole on that even. So that's why hitting our Jawans. When this type of example we have given this for low technology item, then he was convinced, and he says, even then you have to come across for the core sector. We don't have objection for the core sector. But what core sector you giving no work to the vehicle factory Jabalpur? What core sector you wanted to give? Then we have, since we are having some 15-point charter, it was 15, no? The 15-point charter of demand. On that we have not had discussion. But another one discussion was very pertinent. There is a JCM consultative machinery, joint consultative machinery in the Ministry of Defence. In that, somebody, they are not allowing to change the name. I asked him a pertinent question, that a court case has been filed at Audi, Chennai. On that way, the entire, you are not allowing to change the people. A man has died, suppose X has died as a member of joint consultative committee. If you will not allow, you want that I should bring him from the deathbed and he will speak with you. Thereby the functioning of the interactions between the management and the workers forum, it has been jeopardized by stopping the joint consultative machinery.
Did you get a feeling that in your conversation with the Defence Secretary, what was his response to your apprehension about privatization? What was their response? And what impression did you gather from those?
He says it is not privatization. Then when we ask him, he says you come to the core sector. It is not privatization. I am like, bringing in the core. His mind is clear that we are coming to the core sector. Our mind is clear, in the name of non-core sector, we are being made idle.
The issue is like this. It is a general perception at the level of bureaucracy and at the level of media that privatization of defence is going to help the armed forces in fully equipping them, because the ordnance factories are non-performers. This is a baseless and wild allegation. So, when we represented to the Defence Secretary that this is an issue which you are telling that we are not performing. We are telling that we are performing. In spite of that, you wanted to kill the organization. At our cost, you want to help the private corporate houses. So, there is a difference. Now, how these differences can be sorted out? These differences can be sorted out if you as the employer, as the owner of the ordnance factories, you come with your action plan, your roadmap to the major stakeholder, the employees, representatives, and have a dialogue. And wherever we disagree, that can be further debated and a solution can be found out. But the issue is you blindly criticize the performance of the ordnance factories, you clip the wings of the ordnance factories, and you want to encourage the private sector at the cost of the ordnance factories. So, we have told him that if the government, as an employer, as an owner, whatever it may be, if you have got a roadmap in your mind, if you have got an action plan in your mind, don't do it behind our back. You come forward to sit with us, discuss with us and find a solution for that. We are open for that.
But what happened then with your meeting with the minister?
Minister was very clear. He was simply telling 3 points. You see, when we given memorandum, he has seen it. Lot of papers has come to us. Then he started telling. He started telling altogether in Hindi only. He was telling, देखिए
क्या बोला उन्होंने? हाँ,
उन्होंने बोला साहब हम आपको कोई आदमी को जॉबलेस नहीं, आपको नौकरी नहीं जाएगा, आपको ट्रांसफ़र नहीं करेंगे और जिधर से आपका काम ले रहे हैं उधर से आपको नया काम देंगे। मैंने उनको बोला इवन इन पब्लिक सेक्टर अंडरटेकिंग बिना BIFR में भेजे आप किसी का जॉब नहीं ले सकते, ठीक है। अभी आप सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉई, हमको मालूम है जॉब किसी को नहीं जाएगा। ये जॉब जाने का लड़ाई नहीं है, ये डिपार्टमेंट को बचाने का लड़ाई है। ह्यूज इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर ऑफ थाउजेंड करोड़ ऑफ रुपीज इन्वेस्टेड थ्रू पब्लिक मनी, ये जनता का टैक्स का पैसा से ये सब बना है। इसको औने पौने दाम में बेचने का जो आपकी ये प्रक्रिया है, इस प्रक्रिया को हम विरोध करते हैं। हम ये चाहते हैं कि जहां जो काम हम करते हैं और अगर हम करते हैं और सक्सेसफुली 40 साल से करते आए हैं, आज हमारे में क्या खोट आ गया, आपने कोई खोट नहीं बताया और आप हमसे काम छीन रहे, हम इसका विरोध करते हैं।
अभी देयर वाज रिसेंटली अ रिपोर्ट in today's newspaper, in fact, that the Comptroller and Auditor General has criticized the defense production, the ordnance factories and the defense public sector units for the shortfall in war reserves, that we have war reserves only for 10 days and it's a very critical and serious threat.
To my understanding, as a trade union representative as well as a worker of this organization, ordnance factories are given certain targets by the Master General Ordnance, who is responsible for the Indian Army to procure items required for the Army. He places certain indent on the Ordnance Factory Board that we want this much of ammunition of this variety, like that. According to my knowledge, generally we fulfill the targets. There is no such occasion in the recent past that we have miserably failed in the target. Maybe 5%, 10% aberrations may be there, that in any industrial setup it will be always there. But otherwise, by and large, the target given to the Ordnance Factory Board was always completed. It was fulfilled and there is no such a serious situation that we have not given the output whatever they have given. The question comes, why Army is having only 10 days stock or 20 days stock? This is an issue which has to be debated. Now, whose fault is this? Whether the Army has thought about their requirement of keeping ammunition reserve for how many days? Ammunition reserve for how many days you can keep with you, because preserving ammunition is also a big task. Ammunition is not like other engineering equipments. These are all explosives, high explosives. preserving and storing this ammunition beyond a certain limit and beyond a certain period is also will also have safety concerns. So it is for the army to first take a clear stand. Now tomorrow if a war comes, how many days of ammunition of different varieties I should have in my store? So that they have to take a clear decision. On that basis, they have to place the indent to the ordnance factories that in the next 10 years, 5 years, my requirement for ammunition will be this much, and this in this phased manner you have to supply. So this is a general allegation. CAG has generally made a statement considering the fact that army is having only 10 days war reserve with them. But this is an issue within the Ministry of Defence, within the government, within the army. They have to discuss and take a very clear decision in case of a crisis, in case of an emergency, what should be our stock of ammunition reserve available with us. So ordnance factories cannot be simply blamed that because of ordnance factories only the stock has come down.
The question still remains, if there is a shortage and the CAG says there is a shortage of ammunition and there has to be an emergency procurement of these ammunition, do you think that this shortage is created in order to create conditions for justifying emergency imports?
It may be possible. It may be possible. You see, because this criticism has now come, these issues will be raised in the parliament, this will come to the public domain for a debate, because after all it is concerning the defence and security of the country. Then Ministry of Defence may take a decision that yes, ammunition factory overnight, ordnance factories overnight may not be able to supply me this requirement for 20 days or 30 days or 40 days reserve. So let me go for import. This is how, as you rightly asked, the encouraging import of the defence requirement and in encouraging the private sector in the defence, these are all the background, creating a crisis or creating an artificial deficiency, and then blame the ordnance factories that you are not supplying, so I am going to the private or I am going to import.
So you have got no assurance from either your meeting with the Defence Secretary or the Minister of State for Defence insofar as your main objection is concerned, which is to privatization.
We also know government employees have got certain protection. You cannot simply throw him out, and a government factory just like that, it cannot be privatized. There are systems and procedures for that. It cannot be done overnight. We also know that. But what is the main issue? The main issue is, which we have told him, you have taken away 200 items what we are manufacturing today in the ordnance factories without any proper planning, without any proper application of mind. Once this is taken away, what is going to happen to the number of employees involved in this work and the number of ordnance factories involved in that? His immediate reply was, you don't do all these non-core items, we will give you core items which you can manufacture. This is a political statement. But the technical side of that is what Mr. Pathak has mentioned to you. You see, 41 ordnance factories are installed with a different technology, with a different requirement, with a different infrastructure. The plant and machineries of these factories are special purpose for a particular type of production. Overnight you cannot convert it. For example, in ordnance clothing factory Avadi, the workers are ITI trained apprentices in the garment manufacturing. They are tailors. About 1,000 women employees are there in that factory. The plant and machineries are meant for what? Manufacturing garments. Now, if the government say, next to your door, Avadi tank factory is there, heavy vehicle factory Avadi, that is, government has not yet declared it as a non-core item. Even today it is a core item, tomorrow what they will do, we do not know. Now, tank is a core item, now you do tank in OCF Avadi, Ordnance Clothing Factory Avadi. How is it possible? The plant and machineries are different, the workers, their skill is totally different. So, overnight these things can be done. So, political statements are different, The practical side of the issue, how to deal with this problem, is different. That is why finally when we are coming out of his office, we have told him what we have told the defense secretary, sir, we are in an open mind. But you cannot keep us in dark and take decisions of your own, and then when we start an agitation, you are telling us this we will do, that we will do, is not acceptable to us.
Now that you have had your round of meetings with the officials finally, and they are not very satisfactory as far as you are concerned, what is your plan of action going to be in the coming months and year?
I am telling you very frankly, we are going further to intensify our struggle. We are not leaving here. Our prime duty is to make a awareness, public awareness, and awareness to the these leaders also. So by and large we are succeed. Further, after going from Delhi, we will further intensify our struggle. We are not going to leave these big business houses to grab these ordnance factories as a whole in this condition. So we will oppose tooth and nail and fight tooth and nail.
Thank you very much, comrades, for coming and for this interview. And we will be following this story. So if there are any developments, we will certainly be there to take the views and the information to the wider public.